Hey y'all. So, the people who walked in darkness. I want to talk about this darkness. And it's not just evil, okay? This is not just like the people who couldn't see, the people who were blind. Um, because we've talked about several times that Paul in Acts 18:26 or 26:18, that was his calling, that the Lord said that you would go and open the eyes of the blind, that they would turn from the power of Satan to the power of God. That's not this kind of darkness. This kind of darkness is distress, misery, and adversity. So the people who walked in adversity, in misery and distress, have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in the land of intense darkness and the shadow of death. Where else have you heard the phrase shadow of death? Psalm 23. Even though I walk where? Through the valley of the shadow of death. What's next? I will fear no evil. So he says here, those who dwelt in the land of intense darkness and the shadow of death, upon them the light has shined. The light has shined. And so, a little bit dark today. I want to focus on the fact that the light has shined, but I want to talk about this darkness. So, this is misery, adversary, or adversity and distress. And there are two places in scriptures that I want to read. First, you know all of these, but John 16:33, okay? And this is where Jesus says, in this world, you have tribulation and trials and distress and frustration. But what does he say? Be of good cheer. Take courage. Be confident, certain, and undaunted. For I have overcome this world. I have deprived it of power to harm you and have conquered it for you. So Jesus says, in this world, you're living in this world, you're going to have these things. He says, but I have overcome the world. I've deprived it. I've taken its power to harm you and have conquered it for you. So when we're talking about this, did Jesus conquer? Has he conquered like this physical world, like the mountains and the water and the animals and all that kind of stuff? No, he's talking about the spiritual forces in the world that have caused the brokenness, the frustration, the tribulations, the trials and distresses. What took the spiritual forces that we spent forever talking about, the armor of God and the spiritual wickedness in heavenly places, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. All of those things, all of that. I was looking to see really fast if I could find those scriptures. 2 Corinthians 10 verse 3, for though we walk and live in the flesh, right, we are not carrying on our warfare according to the flesh, using mere human weapons. For the weapons of our warfare are not physical weapons of flesh and blood, but they are mighty before God for the overthrow and destruction of strongholds. So Jesus, when he says, for I have overcome the world, he's talking about this spiritual powers, the powers and principalities that would set themselves up against the Messiah. That he has absolutely paraded these powers and principalities and made an open display and public spectacle over them, triumphing over them in the cross. That's Colossians 2. But here is something really interesting that absolutely just jumped out. So bear with me. Jesus says here, for I have overcome the world. That would mean he had already done it, right? The one who was the Word at the beginning, one with God, and the Lamb that was slain before the foundations of the earth, the one who is both Alpha and Omega. He's telling his disciples, I have already conquered. I have already overcome. And I have I have deprived its power to harm you. And that's not even what we were going to talk about today, but that was really, really good. So that's where we landed. So we'll pick up here next time for what we were really going to talk about today. I love y'all. I'll see you later. Bye.